Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy Dangerous Duke,
And your boy, Stevie Jobber.
and welcome to the Dangerous Jobbers podcast. And for the next 15 minutes, we're running a segment called The Dark Match.
People have been asking me to be the best in the world. Why, Eddie, why? I'm better than you.
My eyes are red. I was in the back smoking a joint, but then again,
You know it.
Welcome back to the Dangerous Jobbers podcast. For the next 15 minutes, this dark match is going to be on Edge as we celebrate the 25 years of Edge, and we're just going to go through a couple of his craziest moments, the highs, the lows.
Can you believe it's been 25 years?
I can't believe it. We're so old, man. We're so old.
We are older than Edge's career at this point.
We're older than Edge's career, man.
Damn, that just sounds bad.
Yeah. It sounds bad, man. That's our uncle, dude.
That's Uncle Edge.
That's Uncle Edge, man. So let's just get into it, man. We got 15 minutes to kind of just show appreciation and just go through the career that we've lived longer than and literally got to grow up seeing.
All the highs, all the lows, the goods, the bads, the cringy, the hilarious, just a little bit of everything.
I say we take it kind of back to the early days. Before Edge became the huge single star we mostly remember him for. You can't forget about how he was a tag team legend when he first got here, coming off the Brood and becoming ladder match kings and TLC legends alongside the Dudleys and the Hardy Boys, and notably winning every ladder match, I believe, in that time.
Roughly every ladder match. So arguably, a lot of people remember the first ever TLC match that happened at SummerSlam. But a lot of people say you can't top an original, whether it's in movies, TV, video games. They always say you can't top the original. Yet, they just managed to do that at the next WrestleMania 17. To me, arguably, not even arguably, to me, that is the greatest TLC match that has ever transpired. It is imitated. It will never be duplicated. That match for me is like top tier of TLC matches, be it singles matches, tag team TLCs, triple threat, fatal four-way TLC, whatever kind of TLC you want to do. I think nothing is topping that.
Just to be clear, this one is the spear one, right?
Yes, correct.
Because there's like a key moment in all of them. I have the SummerSlam one as number 2, but that Mania one is definitely number 1.
Yeah, like there was just so many moments, and
There was so much momentum going into it, and these guys were just doing something like only they could do.
Like they were literally doing things you had never seen before.
They were. It was like they created a whole new sport. Like it was crazy.
It was like Ultimate X before Ultimate X.
It was like Ultimate X before Ultimate X. It was just
like nobody was
what it was. It was
nobody was doing 20-foot spears off the top of ladders. Nobody was going through double stacked tables. Lita there was no female superstars out there swinging chairs and taking their tops off. Like it was just something ridiculous.
I think it meant so much to us because it kind of was like it was like they let a bunch of teenagers in.
Basically.
And these guys were just doing off the rails, out of this world stuff. And at our age, that was like, God, I wish I could do what they do.
Right.
They were like literally soaring through the sky. I mean, it would be painful.
Yeah, like hindsight, looking back, these guys took some years off their life for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
still, even though they took years off their life just by doing these crazy stunts and these crazy matches, you can't help but appreciate it because it's what made you love it. It's what made you fall in love with wrestling. Like
It
you can
helped. Yeah,
honestly say Edge is one of those people because of this style of match that made you love wrestling.
absolutely, absolutely. Moving up, uh, I want to talk about his first real moment because I think it leads to like a special conversation. So through Chris Jericho's brain,
Mm-hmm.
we get the Money in the Bank match, and of course, ironically, Jericho doesn't win, but it leads to I think a moment that'll live forever.
Yeah.
It was the match that made Edge essentially.
Mm-hmm. So that Money in the Bank ladder match, obviously the first Money in the Bank ladder match there ever was, definitely did catapult Edge's career. And ironically enough, it came from a fellow Canadian, from Chris Jericho. One
Yeah.
could make the argument, if Chris Jericho did not pitch this idea, Edge may not be a world champion as quick as he was.
Mm-hmm.
Like it may have happened later, but it may not have. His career might not have been to the stature of what it was. Like one of the most,
I don't even think his character would have been quite the same.
yeah,
I mean, the concept of the briefcase kind of created
ultimate opportunist.
that ultimate opportunist edge.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, like it's insane. It's insane. The
It is.
trajectory.
So you mentioned ultimate opportunist Edge.
Yeah.
I want to take it back a little bit, not too far back, but
Mhm.
far enough back.
Yeah.
We're not going to, the 90s or even the early, even to the year 2000. We're not going that far back. We're taking it to the year of 2002.
Mhm.
A moment that sticks out for me
Oh
because
man,
I didn't
yeah.
have it written
We
down.
can't skip by this.
I didn't have it written down, but literally 30 seconds before we hit record, it came to
Mhm.
me. So I want to talk about it because it means a lot to me. The era of ruthless aggression is among us.
Mhm.
It is open landscape. Who's going to seize the opportunity? Who's going to be that guy in the ruthless aggression era of SmackDown?
Mhm.
And we have the backstage locker room scene, infamous now because of the blooper with Rey Mysterio. But we have one John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Edge backstage telling each other that they're the future of SmackDown and the future is tonight.
Mhm.
Little did they know, those three men were actually the future of SmackDown at
They
some
were.
point. At
They were
some
all
point or
three of
another,
them.
all three of them were the future of SmackDown.
Before they were the future of SmackDown, we didn't talk about Edge's debut.
We didn't. That was
Uh yeah.
yeah. So
We
that was
did say we're gonna go through the lows as well.
so we got to hit the lows as well. So for the people who don't know, D the Toy Hunter, you may know this. Some of our listeners may know, some of them may not. So we're gonna go way back here. A young, charismatic, unknown Adam Copeland, aka Edge, makes his debut in a mixed tag team match. It is Edge and Sable.
Mm.
Sable, the woman who was
Of
not
all people.
supposed to, the woman who had it in her contract that she cannot take a bump, versus Mark Marrow and Jacqueline.
Mm.
Now the match is a little hit or miss at certain points, but it ends in a specific way. I believe Edge hit a suicide plancha,
Mm-hmm.
gave Mark Marrow a concussion and a neck injury. And I believe that was relatively the end of Mark Merrill's career.
I believe so.
I think he wrestled for a little bit after that, but that was relatively the end of Mark Merrill's career. I think that's when he started to fall off the wagon. But that was definitely a low point. Something where you got to remember for the rest of your life. You only get one debut match. Make the most of it. Give your opponent a double injury. Definitely not a good spot, but I
Not a good
mean,
spot at all.
not at all.
But to fast forward to good things.
Yeah, fast forward to good things. The
After
future,
Young Edge has made it past all of that.
yeah,
We're
the
jumping
future,
around a bit, but it's only because we got 15 minutes.
yeah.
Edge cashes in. New
Mm-hmm.
Year's resolution. And in a moment where a young rising John Cena has to prove he can still carry the company on his back, a hungry, waiting in the wings Edge, waiting for an opportunity, and becoming the ultimate opportunist, steals the title away from John Cena. And I think they have this special moment where two guys that are kind of unproven in the main event scene are carrying the company with possibly the best storyline in wrestling at the time. I don't even know if it's debatable. You talk
No,
about the
that was
stuff with
definitely
Lita, the live sex show.
yeah, that was
Um,
Edge was definitely the hottest thing in the company for good and bad reasons
mhm.
between the years of 2004 and 2005.
Yeah, so
Actually, not even 4 and 5, 2004 to 2006. Edge was the hottest thing for good and bad reason.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so him and John create this moment where they kind of launch each other's careers at the same time.
Yes, and John kind of brings Edge out of the ashes a little bit.
Yeah, Edge becomes somebody you see in a totally different light,
Mm-hmm.
and John becomes like a true character developing babyface. That's
It was the ultimate yin to the yang.
ultimate yin to the yang. They were both new school in their characters, but
Polar opposites.
they were polar opposites.
But it was beautiful because every time they stepped in the ring together, it was magic.
It was magic. They had a special chemistry, man.
They stepped in the ring 100 times together. They had a great match, 99 out of 100.
Hmm.
Like
But
they didn't miss.
on to the bad part about that, though. That
Yeah,
same time that he was hot.
yeah. Obviously we know rated R Edge, living true to the character, living true to the gimmick. I guess he was maybe because he came in the '90s and he still wanted to live the gimmick.
Hmm.
Uh, took rated R to a whole new level. While one of his best friends, the guy who created the most beautiful TLC match you ever see, while he's out with an injury, Edge, what does he do? Takes his girl, sleeps with her, ruins a 10 plus year friendship,
Mm.
all for a piece of you know what. And this makes breaking news in the WWE. This hit TMZ. This
Hmm.
hit like national news.
Hmm.
Like it hit every sports platform that you can think of. And it was just a bad look for Edge, a bad look for Matt, Lita, the company. This is press that you don't want, but credit where credit is due. They made the most of a shit situation.
I gotta tell you, aside from the fact that they never let Matt win, that was my favorite Matt Hardy. I'm ashamed to say
Yeah.
it, but the will not die Matt Hardy, my
Yeah.
favorite Matt Hardy.
I mean, Broken Matt is close.
Broken Matt,
Im-
Broken Matt
Bro-
is
Impact Broken Matt is close.
version one Matt very high on the list for me. Top three, top three.
Yeah, that one's top three too as well. But
But keeping it about Edge, keeping it about Edge. This was again. I mean, they turned it into something amazing on screen.
On a shit situation, they made the most of.
Kudos to them for working together, but I do think they should have let Matt get away in there.
Possibly.
I mean, but moving on
And
to moving on to more good things. Moving on to more good things.
another good thing I want to
We
touch
end on a
on.
high note. Yes.
I want to touch on something. I got two things to talk about. One from the past and one from that era, but we'll start with the one from that era.
Mm-hmm.
Edge, WWE champion, going through everybody. You know, he's beating John, he's beating RVD, beating up on Matt Hardy. I think he beat Jeff at this point as well because Jeff might have come back.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think he's going to have in their first ever ladder match? Ric Flair. I'm sorry. We have to talk about this. It would be bad if I didn't bring it up.
Oh boy.
Whose bright idea was it to put a 70-something-year-old man, 60-something probably at this point, 60-something-year-old man in a ladder match with probably the most dangerous man you can jump in a ladder match with?
He doesn't know how to use a ladder.
He doesn't. And not for that. Who told this man it was okay to get color in a ladder match with one of the most dangerous men you can have in a ladder match?
I mean, but Rick's no slouch. He used to be a hardcore guy.
Yeah, I mean he was hardcore at some point, but you know, when you're 60 something bumping off of 20-foot ladders.
Listen, this man can go forever, man.
But when you on paper, it sounds terrible. It sounds like a terrible idea to put Pawpaw in the ladder match.
They keep telling him he should be dead.
But lo and behold, this man took care of him in that match. I mean, he took some rough spots, but he took care of him in the match.
Yeah.
I gotta give him credit there, man. That's a beautiful moment that sticks out for me.
He's done it with the best of them, man. He's a legend.
Yeah.
He's a legend. And real quick, we got to wrap it up. So we got to talk about the biggest highs and lows, which have to be the low point of retirement.
Yes.
Just a quick second on the speech. Tears. And when they replayed the speech on the 25th on SmackDown, I was like, you motherfuckers are trying to make me cry, man.
Easily one of the most
so emotional.
Easily one of the most emotional moments I have ever went through as a wrestling fan.
It was tears, man. It was horrible.
Easily one of the most gut-wrenching experiences I've had as a fan. But off of one of the worst things that's ever happened, we get to fast forward 9 years later. Royal Rumble. Entrant number 20. AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, so many big names in the ring.
That you already didn't expect to be there.
Exactly. Who comes out at number 20?
Get out of here.
You think you know me. Now, if there was ever I don't want to curse, if there was ever a time to get goosebumps as a wrestling fan.
I mean,
like if there was ever an oh shit moment.
I jumped up out of my seat.
It's like it was one of them things you suspected, but like you always said, you ain't gonna believe it's happening until it happens. That is like the perfect case scenario for that saying right there. Because I remember sitting there watching it. I'm like, okay, you think you know me. Hold on. Like
I was like, wait, are they serious?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, wait a minute. No, like he's coming. Like, and then I saw him and he looked great. And I went, oh my God, he's back.
Like, you know when I knew he was back full time wasn't even in the match. It was the entrance. When you seen the tears coming down that man's face, it's like, yeah, this ain't a one-off. He's back.
He's back, man.
Like he is him and he is back. Like as soon as you see them tears flowing before the fireworks even go, it's like, yeah, he's back. We got Uncle Edge again.
Sick, man. Sick. And it sucks. It sucks. A lot of that beginning run was done with no fans because it would have been so much better if we didn't go through COVID. But
Yeah,
it was just
but
good
I
to have him
mean,
back. It was just good to have
at
him back.
least he got the return in the Rumble when the fans were still there.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was the
And he got a world championship run that looked really solid.
yeah. Like he looked like he could do it.
He looked like he could do it. Like he made you believe. Like he had his number.
Mm-hmm. It was just beautiful.
Yeah. So just amazing to have him back. No matter what they did with it. And he hasn't said he was retired,
But you
but
know,
he needs some time off.
yeah. It's if it happens, I'm not upset with it. It's been a hell of a career, man. If he wants to go out now in his blaze of glory on his own terms, he's earned it. I can't complain.
And I think he's
I'm
done it
just
with
great. I'm just grateful he was back for the time he was. And if this is his farewell, I will happily oblige.
yeah, just him being able to go out on his own terms is the biggest thing.
Exactly.
So
That's what anybody deserves.
yeah. Just
I
to be
feel like they could
able to
feel
get
the
away.
I feel like they could feel like our passion in this pod right now because I'm like,
That's what it is. It's just
dude, if you
it's,
could feel the energy I have going through me right
some
now,
of these
it's like
guys are just really
unreal.
good guys, man. And you just want to see them win. And that's where you know, you watch these guys for long enough, it turns into that kind of thing, you know, where you just want them to be happy and get
I'm gonna
everything
hate.
they deserve.
I'm gonna hate doing the Randy one.
Oh man, I'm not even listen. As far as
He
I'm concerned,
he
if
got
we
another
never
10.
hear from him again,
Randy got another 10. But it ain't about that. This is about Edge's 25 years, man. Before we sign this off, just real quick, favorite Edge moment.
my favorite Edge moment.
Yeah, just real quick, rattle it off.
Oh man, what is my favorite Edge moment? Gosh, you go first. I don't know my favorite Edge moment, but I
All
gotta
right.
think about it. He's
So
crazy.
there's quite a few, but if I gotta go pick one, just one favorite Edge moment for me, probably from like before he retired, while he was still young. Give me Edge versus Kurt Angle, hair versus hair.
Mm,
I'll take that one.
that's a great one. Man, he was so great. I think I might have to go with his stuff with Batista.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You talking early.
Yeah,
All right,
because he
we
was
both stay there.
established, but that special time in SmackDown in general
Yeah,
was a time, and those two were at the top of their freaking game, man.
yeah. Okay. So we both went kind of early.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, that is the dark match. That is Edge's 25 years. Thank you for tuning in. If you have a special moment of your own, drop it in the comments, drop it wherever. Let us know what it is. Sure you guys stay up. Sure you guys stay blessed. And as always, stay dangerous.
Stay dangerous.
People have been asking me